Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the octo-final match between Raytheon and Cegeka. Team Raytheon currently leads 1-0 against their opposition, Team Cegeka from Belgium land. These players competing for $5,000 of my money. This is the octo-final match. If they get to the finals and win, oh, how tickled they will feel. Let's introduce our players. Down in the top left corner. Sorry, I'm bottom top colorblind. Up in the top left corner, representing Team Cegeka, it is Lionheart. Well, up in the top right-hand corner, from Team Raytheon, currently leading 1-0, it is... it's Bubes. This player's name is Bubes. Excellent. The map is Habitation Station, known as a map where you do something and then rush for a gold expansion. So good. It's like someone who's experienced at playing Fallout 2. You never go east, you go south for the Navarro armor, right off the bat. I'm just going to make a Navarro run on this one. Going to be pretty strong. I'm just going to go to that locker and equip that and come back and not have a challenge in the slightest, because I'm a power gamer. Now there's quite a lot of planes outside today. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Bubes is investigating to the left. Lionheart is currently gone for the only build that Terrans can go for, which is a Reaper-based opening. Almost certainly into some sort of expandination. Our red Raytheon Zerg is taking his natural expansion, and the big question right now is, with what information can he decide to get away with it? If he sees a single barracks, oftentimes Zerg players will just keep building drones, knowing that there's really no way to bunker rush from that distance. Oh, looks like he's already pre-planned to build a spawning pool. Now, in terms of the mid-game decisionistas, what we'll normally see the Terran players do on this map is hurry up and get a third command center, but not move it. Begin to get all the infrastructure they need, and then expand to the gold and boom, ramp up the pressure and the tension. There's two big paths that the Zerg can go down. The first one is to say, well, you know what? I'm going to quickly expand to the gold. Tactically, it's a pain in the ass to keep alive. The Terran player can easily just walk from here to up here, and then assault directly on the gold base, all the while holding the watchtower. And of course, if a Terran player is here and a Zerg base is here, there's really not a lot of downsides to doing that as Terran, but Zergs will still expand here, trying to mine this out as fast as possible. The other route that Zerg players have taken, players like Snoot have done very successfully, is just to expand along the right side. Sure, the mineral income is not as high, but those distances are so big on this map that it makes it okay. So Lionheart, with great courage and cunning, is investigating Bubes to see what's going on. Looks like the expansion's down for Cegeka's Lionheart. The man in Raytheon Red has collected enough funds to get himself up speed and has done just that, but not before losing 2 ODEM workers. What an efficiency Reaper right now. It's 18-18, but those few extra drones early on are just so important. Oh, love this. A third Reaper. Seems like a rather unusual thing to love so much, because there's really no harassment angles. I mean, if you look at this, you can jump up here or just walk right up the ramp, and those are your two choices. But it's the timing of the economy that I love so much on this. If you get that third Reaper, you're going to be getting the factory for all the Hellions, as normal, but you have just enough money to sneak in a command center before you get those Hellions started. So sneak it in. Sneak in that command center, Lionheart. Oh, he's going to sneak it in. Okay, well, you can also go for a star port, and then you can just sneak in that third command center. Harassment's still going on. He's going to dart away down the cliff. And then I'm pretty sure he's going to just sneak in a command center. I would imagine that's what he's going to do. Here comes the switch. Now, again, you'll note, has just enough money to get a command center after he builds the Hellions. Now, look at that. Look at that. Oh, there he is. He's going for a starport. Now, if you time it correctly, you still have enough money to sneak in the third, which is why I love so much this 3 Reaper play. Let's talk about Zerg. Bubes, building lots and lots of lings. Ooh, losing those drone 3 Reapers, 2-shot a worker. No, don't let it die. Uh-oh, he's getting trap-served. And with the speed upgrade done, oh no, these are very important tools to keep alive. Oh no! He gets bitten in the heel. And, apparently Lionheart did not spec for a rogue because his sneak skill seems pretty non-existent right now. Looks like he's going to get a Marine out before that Banshee. Zerg's in pretty typical shape for a Zerg at this point in time. Going to beginning to get that creep spread right away. Has the 4 queens up in production. We're starting to see not huge techs upward, but techs outward, going for plus upgrades, etc. You know, I really feel like there should be a 3rd command center here. But, I don't know, maybe I just have gas. Maybe that feeling was wrong. I don't know, one time I thought I was in love and then I farted. And I was like, nope, it was just gas. My apologies. Zerg's doing the reasonable follow-up, just going straight up for the layer tech. Not tremendous variety in terms of these opening phases, but this is a great play by Mr. B. He was starting to feel suspicious. He said, you know what, I know what's going on. I see the Reapers, there's going to be Hellions soon, but then he saw no Hellions. But he knew that there was going to be Hellions coming up. That's really the only way to stay alive as Terran early on, so what's going on? Sends in that Overlord, not only sees the Banshee, but sees the factory. Oh my gosh, it's going to be double army. We're seeing mech. Oh my god, Lionheart, starring Sean Connery. No, wait, that's Dragonheart. Ignore everything. Here's a battle. Now, Lionheart is doing the extremely aggressive contain play. This build exploits so much players who like to go for the gold expansion here, but this is why players, again, like Snoot, like Boobs, elect to sneak that Expo on the right. Much more difficult to assault. I mean, Dr. B of Team Red has this largely in lockdown. She has to be very careful with those lings that are currently testing the rendering skills of my GPU with lots of explosions. Looks like Blue Flame Hellions coming up. Armories almost done, but is there a tank that's going to be rallied across a very aggressive play? And look at this. Now, this might look a little bit insane what Mr. Lionheart's doing. Building Marines and mech at the same time. Marines, when going mech, are very, very strong support units early. They deal a lot of damage, they shoot air and ground. Even without upgrades, the fact that they're not going to be taking the brunt of the hits because the Hellions are stepping forward makes for a lot of very early aggressive timing pushes. Normally we see this one barracks start the game off churning out a lot of units and then sort of holding back. Rallying here is a very interesting way to exploit a Zerg player who seems to be doing the traditional Baneling type of play. Until those Banelings show up, these Marines are going to be able to just rip the Lings down, rip everything but the Lings down very, very well. They'll help support against the Queens, they'll help support against Overlords. Very interesting, aggressive play from Lionheart. We really don't get the chance to see this very much, but this is a very cool timing. The idea from the Zerg's point of view, though, is going to be to just overwhelm it with Zerglings. Queens to transfuse the key defensive structures. Uh-oh, that tank is being left alone. The tank is being left alone. There is a tank in aisle 5, unattended. Blue Flame is done for Lionheart. The Lings didn't strike quickly enough. The Blue Flame being done means, oh my god, that is violent. That is just, oh my god, HBO would rate that as adult content. That is just a little bit excessive. That's a little gruesome. Graphic content indeed. Lionheart holding down the fort. Now, roaches are being produced, but everything's been preempted right now by Lionheart. Oh my gosh, boobs deflating before our eyes. Man, I gotta work on my word choice in these casts. Lionheart is electing to pull back. He's electing to hold strong. The real question is how much damage was done. Not a tremendous amount of workers killed. 45 to 51. Things are relatively stable right now. He's getting the rollin' upgrades. And Lionheart, oh my god, that's a very, very late command center. You know, if I had to If I had to describe that, I would say that really was not snuck in. That was sort of blatantly... I mean, it's late. Again, a lesser used upgrade, the service upgrade, that allows you to do the transformation of the Hellbats, or transformation of Hellions into Hellbats. Not yet done, but here's another little tricky moment for Lionheart. That Spire hasn't been used. There are no anti-air units in this entire force, save for 14 Marines. These Thors, oh my god, Lionheart was so lucky that he avoided getting picked off by a bunch of mutas. Lionheart right now hasn't done much with his gold expansion. Missile turrets going down. I like it. Planetary Fortress. This implies that Lionheart wants to be quite aggressive. We've already seen that he has a propensity to do such. And it's going to be Banelings, Roaches, and... oof, a very difficult to defend push. No gold yet out of the Zerg player. Much like someone who got a little bit late to California. Blue scan, Lionheart just checking everything. Burning down these tumors. So aggressive, not even being cautious with these siege tanks. You don't need a lot of siege tanks to really rip down Roaches. I mean, the Thors and the Hellbats are going to absorb most of those hits, it looks like. Oh my god, Lionheart might very well be assaulted from both sides by boobs. And there it is, moving right in. The Banelings are in the perfect position! Oh my god. Oh my god. Someone call the police. Someone call the fire patrol. Because everything has just burned to the ground. A series of explosions have left very little alive. Wow, that was an excellent engagement by our red Zerg player, who shall remain nameless. Now, in this spot, it looks like the Raytheon Zerg can just begin to construct mutilisks. Oh, thank goodness for that planetary fortress. One of the big reasons why planetaries tend to be the choice building if you want to be aggressive and put yourself in rather funky angles. You can't rely on your army being in a good position to defend counterattacks. So it looks like Boobs is feeling a little bit of them comebacks. Upgrading to Hive. You know, I have a general philosophy of mech versus Zerg, and I'm sure you've heard this if you watch my show, because let's be honest. I'm like a professional broken record. By the way, that skin is really, really snazzy on that Thor. But anyways, my broken record technique is that mech is the slowest army in the game. So incredibly slow that the best way to exploit it is with fast, with mobility, with anything that involves not engaging the army directly. Expanding to opposite corners of the map. Going for fast units like Roaches, fast units like Mutilisks. It's going to exploit the fact that the Terran player doesn't have good all-purpose units with mechs. He just has a bunch of sledgehammers. Thors are super anti-air units. Hellbats are super anti-ling units. Siege tanks are super anti-armored and building units. Same story for Banshee. But we're not really seeing that out of Zerg at this point in time. He's doing a lot of, he's going for a greater Spire. That can be a nice finisher, but the thing about mech armies is that they don't even really need to be very large. They're so powerful. I mean, look at this army tab. We're starting to see things get close to max. This is what makes mech so good. At a 150 supply army, look at those numbers. 3.5k, 1.6k. And a maxed Zerg army, almost maxed Zerg army, was less supply, or less army value than the Terran. I mean, the Terran armies are just incredibly, incredibly vicious in these direct engagements. This is not a very siege tank heavy force. We're starting to see the Terran player head south. Banshees are sort of like a replacement tank used to deal a lot of damage to those Roaches. Hydral's Den coming up. Love it. Fast, aggressive units. I just don't know about these Vipers. The only way these Vipers are going to be incredibly useful is Blinding Cloud on the tanks, but Blinding Cloud does not last very long at all. You'll rarely see battles dramatically reshape around blinding clouds, save for a brief retreat and an awkward engagement angle for the Zerg player. He's going to have to rely heavily on those blinding clouds. He throws them down, but the Thors just march right ahead. Oh, the sheer number of roaches really helping Zerg out tremendously in this engagement. The Thors are just not bad units versus roaches. This is what makes the mech army so terrifying. One engagement goes slightly badly for Zerg, and suddenly the upper hand seems to lie entirely with our Terran player. Oh, Lionheart from Cegeka. Oh my god, march little Hellbats, march. So pro to see him win with some mech. Oh yes! Alright, AHGL fans, I know you're out here in full force. The Day Knights are in attendance. The teams and captains are all here. Who do you think will win? Trumpet, if you want to create a straw poll, I'm not asking about this match. I'm asking about the whole series. Is it going to be Cegeka or is it going to be Raytheon? Looks like Mr. BBZ, finally electing to take the goal. That's going to be a very difficult to defend location. Of course, I'm sure many of you are gawking at this incredible number of command centers. Well, the Terran player wants to have an extremely solid economy, very mineral heavy, well actually very everything heavy. Mech is just an expensive force. So if you get a bunch of orbital commands, you can begin to sacrifice your SCVs later in the game to get even bigger armies. Couple Mutalists completely outright destroy. Very simple example of the power of mobility. A seemingly irrelevant force has delayed one of the more important expansions for a mech. Base number 5. Looks like it's still going to be the choice to go Viper, Roach. We see a couple. Broodlords beginning to tease out. It's going to be the build and cancel technique to really mass those up, but I mean, Lionheart is not even going to need to turn those Thors into anti-armored mode at all. What he's going to have to do is just 1A. Make sure he's right-clicking the skies. The splash is actually quite important against Broodlords. Unless it's the ground force is really not there. I don't really almost ever recommend going into the high-impact payload. Oh! How's it going to pan out? There's the scan. Alright, Blinding Cloud is just not going to do that much. Oh, that's what the splash is there for. Suddenly, all the Thors get shut down. They're going to pull back immediately. Blinding Cloud's dissipated. Basically done. Starting to see those Thors begin to take a lot of damage. But they're darting forward. Oh my god, Hellbat's buying so much time for those Thors to just rip down the Broodlords. 2 tanks in the backside. Oh, giving the Frowntown special to Team B. A second scan. Uh-oh. Mass Corruptors being produced, but I think it was a little bit too many. I think it's going to be all Corruptors and no Broodlords, and that's going to make Jack a dull boy. It's actually going to make Jack a dead boy. Jack's going to die. Team B. Oh, man. Team B taking it. Getting destroyed. Orbitals up. Oh yes, look at the beautiful Cegeka logo type. If I'm mispronouncing that, I'm super duper sorry. Just to balance things out, I'll say Team Raytheon. Team Raytheon Greyjoy is just getting tortured right now. Just getting absolutely, wow, that's too gruesome a comparison. This we see that Team Raytheon still has a fighting chance. I like the selection to get Lings right now. +2 claws. Great. Good for counterattacking. Ooh. Oh, the roaches are beginning to move down to the bottom side. This is what I love about these mobile forces. Now, Bubes doesn't have a base to assault. This is why players love to get the gold early. If you can mine it out, you've removed an extremely important target. You've gotten all the juicy benefits. Oh no, Vikings are being made in quartets. It's a Viking trio. This base is going to fall, but I think that the main army of boobs might fall sooner. Oh god, it's a target firing massacre. And down she falls. Really muddying up this beautiful AHGL logo. The bottom side Lionheart's taken some serious hits. Lionheart is in a little bit of an awkward monetary situation. Main, natural, and gold mined out. It's essentially this leftward base. Removing bases is really the only technique that our Zerg player has left, but a single tank on the low ground. Oh, this is so much why players desperately want to avoid taking a gold too late on this map. Team B. Team Pain. Oh, I really think that Team Cegeka is going to be tying things up in this match. It's going to be a Broodlord. Oh my gosh, that's a pretty big army. It's a Broodlord, Zergling, Corruptor army. The Zergling's here to buy time so the Corruptors can pick off all the Vikings. The Broodlord's beginning to rain down on every one of them Thors. Oh my god, my map's scrolling in an incredible display of tension. Lionheart's Planetary Fortress holding strong. The Corruptors have to pull back because Thors, even versus Broodlords, have a pretty easy time. Fighting mech head on. That is like starting a fight with a brick wall and then inviting everyone to the 1v1. You just don't want to fight a brick wall head on. You want to avoid them. The brick wall of mech, I mean, Boobs is just face planting onto that right now. Having a really rough time. Starting to bring the queens out. Oh man, Jaedong brings the queens out early as a display of stunning defense. Every other person on the planet, including myself, when we bring out our queens, yeah, you know what that means. I guess I'm dead, and I've been macroing a little poorly. I guess I have a lot of energy to do transfuses. Go, troops! Oh god, they're dead, and I can't inject larvae anymore. I hope I have an Ultralisk Cavern. I can hit that U button, keep that money low, and feel good about myself. Haha, that's right. I played StarCraft 1 Zerg. I know the feeling. I play StarCraft 2 Zerg. The feeling's there even stronger. Lionheart is continuing to pack together his TT army. TT is the Thor army. Looks like an SCV train is getting ready to move on out. Oh, these roaches are actually doing a pretty nice job. If you look at the income tab, Zerg has quite a few more minerals coming in. If Zerg can withstand the single last force, he might be able to pull the miracle. This is it, the Thors. They're just going straight up for the Broodlords. There's really not a lot of Vikings here. There's one. Corruption steps forward. It looks like everything's glitching. Things are glitching very nicely here. Oh, but gosh, the Thors just keep on marching in 4 at a time. They're like boy bands if you watch the history of America and fast forward. Just another 4? Really? Didn't the other 4 just stop? Wow. Boobs in some serious trouble trying to morph in more Broodlords. The Roaches in overwhelming numbers trying to take it down. Thor, good unit. It's the Marine of the future. TTT. Where would you be without me? But I mean, this is still a kind of a hairy situation. Oh, no, it isn't. It's GG. Team Cegeka with the wins. Putting themselves on the map. It is tied 1-1 in this AHGL Octo Final match. When we return, it's going to be Game 3 with things all tied up. Stay tuned.